Welcome to another video with the Unspecialist. I know you've seen the title, but I assure you, that title is not clickbait. The NCAA is really deciding to put women's rights last. But without further ado, let's just get straight into the topic. Today, CNN published an article titled Transgender Swimmer Lia Thomas Nominated for NCAA 2022 Woman of the Year Award by Amanda Musa. The University of Pennsylvania nominated swimmer Lia Thomas, who has become the face of the debate on transgender women in sports, for the 2022 Woman of the Year Award. The Ivy League swimmer was nominated as a Division I athlete for swimming and diving, according to the NCAA website. The award is meant to honor the, quote, academic achievements, athletics excellence, community service, and leadership of graduating female college athletes from all three divisions, end quote, according to the website. Now, right off the bat, I can tell you that based on the description of the award, it should go to what I would assume to be a biological female. However, as you can see, the nomination of Thomas is part of the continued wave of efforts to erode the meaning of the word woman and for a redefinition of what it means to be female or a woman for that matter. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's see what else they have to say. Continuing. In March, Thomas became the first transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I title after finishing first in the women's 500-yard freestyle event and recording the fastest time of the NCAA season. With that victory, she became the first transgender athlete to win a D1 title in any sport. Thomas, who previously swam for the Penn's men's team, brought renewed attention to the debate on trans women's participation in sports and the balance between inclusion and fair play during a time when states across the US are passing laws aiming to curb the rights of transgender people. What's interesting is that the article subtly or not so subtly positions Thomas as a trendsetter, a revolutionary of sorts, a trans person winning in the face of a society seeking to exclude trans people. It's perfect marketing, almost too perfect. There you have it, a perfect storm of a society with legislation and public opinion possibly trending in the opposite direction and a trans person succeeding in the face of all of that. Coincidence? Probably not. But if there's one thing I'd always advise the public to be wary of, are the heroes that are given to you. These heroes are seldom the shining saviors that they're portrayed to be, and behind their branding are often things more sinister than you can imagine. If you've watched the TV show The Boys, Homelander is a perfect example. I'm also quite curious to know what happened to the rights of women in this discussion. Did anyone spare a thought for the women who competed against Thomas, who were robbed of their right to fair competition in racing against someone who was born biologically a male? Are their cries counted for nothing and their months or even years of hard work trampled by a blatant disregard of biological and physiological differences between the sexes? I hope not, but let's read the rest of the article and see. She first launched into the public eye with a stunning performance at the Zippy Invitational in Ohio in December, when she set NCAA season best times in the 200-yard and 500-yard freestyle races. And she won the 100-yard, 200-yard, and 500-yard freestyle races at the Ivy League Women's Championships in February. In a May interview with ABC, the swimmer talked about feeling depressed early in college before her transition. She began hormone replacement therapy in 2019 and, following NCAA protocols, took a year off swimming before joining the Penn women's team in 2020. In that last paragraph, pay attention to the depression prior to the transition. This is something that you may find common in similar stories about different individuals that transition to the opposite sex. However, let's continue. I knew there would be scrutiny against me if I competed as a woman. I was prepared for that, she said in the interview, but I also don't need anybody's permission to be myself and to do the sport that I love. Ironically enough, it was the NCAA who gave permission for Thomas to compete as a woman in the first place. And the scrutiny here is nothing to do with anyone having permission to be themselves. That's a given. However, the scrutiny is about a biological male competing as a woman against women, and the fairness and all the other implications of this, which we're seeing played out in front of our very eyes. Thomas said there are a lot of factors that go into a race, but the biggest difference now is that she is happy, adding that trans women are not a threat to women's sports. The Woman of the Year selection panel will pick 30 honorees, from which they will then announce 9 finalists, 3 from each NCAA division, according to the organization's website. The NCAA Committee on Women's Athletics will then review those finalists before deciding on a 2022 NCAA Woman of the Year, according to the site. The Woman of the Year will be named at the NCAA convention. There's just a few things to point out here. First, notice the combination of the direct emotional appeal of Thomas saying that they're happy now after transitioning, and then the added rhetoric that trans women are not a threat to women's sports. The combination is perfect for persons who may be emotionally invested in this particular topic and particularly supportive of trans rights. Now, something else to pay attention to is that this is still very early on in the process. So Thomas may not end up being a finalist and may not be Woman of the Year. But the fact that we're seeing these stories run now is something to be paid attention to. I also want to take some time to answer the question posed by the article title in the top left corner. How an Ivy League swimmer became the face of the debate on trans women in sports. And the answer is simple. The NCAA let trans women into sport and the media is promoting it. So of course, there's going to be massive public discourse, outrage, and the entire spectrum of reactions to this controversial topic. The revolution might not be televised, but the programming certainly is. Why do you think there's so much media attention on this particular topic? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. I know this is controversial and there's going to be a variety of opinions, and I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. Do trans women belong in women's sports? This is the Unspecialist saying, I know there are some that say a woman's past shouldn't matter, but in 2022, her past matters more than ever before. Especially when that woman might have been playing for the men's team 12 months ago. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content and follow me on Twitter @TheUnspecialist. Thanks for watching. Peace.